Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Blocklings. Blocklings is a new voxel-based game that my friend and I have been working on, and we're looking for your support. If you can go to blocklings.com and sign up on the forums, we would be really happy. Maybe even making a post and saying hi would, it'd be a massive ego boost for us, and we'd be happy to say hi back. So Blocklings is a game that's going to be going through many phases. The first phase is going to be creative mode, basically placing and breaking blocks. As you can see, you can break blocks right now. I have to be honest, the second you can't break blocks because we removed that ability since we're playing around with it. But the idea of it is it's going to be a nice, beautiful, hopefully a little more responsive and faster than like the old Java, Minecraft, for example, block building game, where we're going to enhance it over time with creative mode in phase 1. Phase 2, we're going to be jumping into survival mode where, yes, you can kill creatures, you can loot things, you can go and mine, and you build and craft and all that fun stuff. And then phase 3, we're going to be working on Steam support, and anyone who does purchase and supports us early will get a Steam key, and probably at that time when we go on Steam, we'll increase the price a little bit more. And phase 4, as far as I know, if I'm getting these right, will be our game mode. Basically, we're going to have polls, and the community will decide, as we think the community will be quite grown by then, and they'll have more ideas and what they would like to see more in Blocklings, where players will be able to vote on game modes. Basically, game modes are sort of like the survival mode, but taking it a little further and doing sort of what you guys see and enjoy and love in the Minecraft game servers. For example, Hunger Games, the DayZ style maps where you survive and grab stuff and live off the land, things like that. And basically, you guys will vote and tell us what you want. We'll get your ideas, and the top ideas we'll put in a poll, and you guys will vote, and we'll make it happen. And we'll go from there. And the nice thing is we will be programming it, we'll be scripting it, etc. We will make it as enjoyable as possible. We will listen to your feedback. We'll do what we can with it. We're also working on minecarts. We're actually really considering replacing the idea of minecarts. It looks a little too like Minecraft, we admit. You have to remember this is pre-alpha, so we made one and we just wanted to see how it looked. We're actually thinking of making more realistic trains, like an actual train where we'll have something really silly, like a tiny little coal front train where it pulls you around, and you'll actually have a little train carts where you can sit in them, and something a little more enjoyable than just a plain minecart to get you around the world. But there's going to be so much potential. You can see a little dirt placement here. There is going to be so much potential in this, and all it requires is your attention, I guess, is the best thing. I'm not even asking you to go buy it. I just you guys following us, you guys checking it out, your support, your compliments, I guess, or even suggestions and feedback. Your constructive criticism is completely fine. That sort of thing is what we're really looking for. We just want to build a community, and we want to hear from you and get ideas from you guys over time, because your ideas will happen. Your ideas matter. Just give you an idea for survival mode. For example, in a lot of games, basically, let's say you want to craft an iron pick. Basically, you go mine iron, you throw iron in a furnace, for example, you smelt the iron, and then you go in your crafting inventory or crafting bench and you craft the iron pick. Well, the idea here is you'll have to build this big stone furnace where it'll have all the lovely particle effects coming up and going up, smoke up there, and the fire here, and you will smelt down the iron ore into actual iron bars, and then you'll take the bars and you'll use them on the anvil. We don't want to make it too complex where you're like more realistically putting it in a mold and things like that. Now, that if that's something people want in the game, phase 4, for example, and they want a game mode where it's more like realistic and hardcore, that is something we're more than willing to look in for people at that point, but we're trying to make it somewhat simple. You want to make it a fun game where, hey, you make a pick, you don't spend a week making a pick, and then you use the anvil and basically you craft the pick, for example. And that's sort of the idea, how we're trying to change things up a bit more and add a little more depth into it. And we're thinking of, for example, crops. We'll have it so you water it by hand, and as time goes on, we'll have an irrigation system that you'll create, like say the water wheel or the windmill up there, and I'll tell you about more of that, where it'll cause some mechanical energy and things like that, where you can, pump out water out of a local river, lake, or a well. That's one of the reasons we have a well here showing. Instead, you can build a well and not have to worry about, say, a water source. And then you can go ahead and auto-irrigate, say, your crops over time with like a little sprinkler up in the air or something cute like that. But there is so many ideas that are flowing through our head. We have a features page, which is sort of a joke because we want to add so much on there, but at the same time, you got to be, it's not realistic. It's just you got to work on the base parts of the game first and then work on the, additives. We don't want to go too crazy and just be like, what the heck, But we're hoping to work on this game, honestly, few years. If the game becomes successful, and when we make successful, we could, two of us can make a living off of it where we can put food on our table. We're going to be working on this game for many, many years. And we have a voxel editor where you guys can actually participate and help build these models. And we're going to soon have a little import feature where you can have them imported in the game just so you can preview and get an understanding what they look like size-wise or whatnot. We don't mind scaling models. We don't mind shrinking models. We do not want to overly add too much detail. For example, this barrel is okay. This looks pretty okay. Here you can see these guys. These oranges are actually 2x2. They're quite big because we scaled the tree a little higher. But we don't want something super detailed like 20,000 block cat, for example. We want to keep it quite blocky, I guess, if you get an idea. Like what you see here, you get the general theme. Everything feels like it belongs together, but if you put too much detail in something, it just kind of like makes everything else not feel as good. So that's one of the things we're trying to aim is, it's supposed to be more blocky. But the thing is, if you guys want to do it for your own gameplay and things like that, that's fine. But if you guys want to contribute models and stuff, you're more than welcome to do that. And another thing that a lot of games don't do, we've open sourced all our models. We're not going to put any copyrights or basically rules or permissions. We do just ask you give credit to any authors like you guys who contribute to us. So if somebody says they added, a water wheel, for example, and we put it on GitHub, if you were to download that and use that, we're saying that's okay. But please give the original author, thanks, and also give thanks to Blocklings itself, just link to the site or whatever. But yeah, we're trying to keep all our models open source. We're using Unity as the engine, so we're not going to be open sourcing the actual everything else, like code-wise. But we're going to try to offer as many configs as possible, and we're going to open a bit of parts of the game over time for modding, things like that as well. So you'll be able to change things. For example, just a little tweaking, we were talking about food, like if food would feed your mana or your HP or even your food bar and things like that, and maybe we can even do a little more like a special effect, whatnot. Well, we're going to try to put that into a file that you guys can modify, if it's XML or YAML or whatever, JSON, and you guys will be able to modify those and change the effects rate in the game without having to be, hacking and cracking the game. Well, it's not really cracking, but, hacking it and trying to do all this other stuff, writing wrappers and things like that. We're going to try to make it a little more open for you guys right away. And that way you can, modify and change things the way you want, because some people might want a server where it's quite unique from other servers. And we like that. We're a big supporter of that. And we want to make sure you have your own uniqueness that you can provide to your players or your friends, and we don't want to, tamper with saying, hey, this is our game, this is the way it is, you play it like this, because that's not one of our beliefs, for sure. But anyways, guys, I better wrap this up. I got lots of work to do, but I just wanted to share you guys Blocklings. I hope you check it out, blocklings.com. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, super pre-alpha. Tell your friends that it's super pre-alpha. Make sure everyone knows it's super pre-alpha. This is just only the start, and it'll only get better. Thanks so much for watching.